Hi everybody, I'm Justin, Shaw Realty Group. I'm sitting down here with Geoff Rabideau of Rabideau Law. And we're just going to do a little Q&A session here, kind of help out. Our clients have been dealing with kind of the same issue, so I was just going to ask Geoff a few questions about that. Geoff, do you want to start telling them a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Geoff Rabideau, Rabideau Law. We are a law firm. We've been around for about 8 years. We are an Ontario-based law firm, so we have our main head office is located in Kitchener, Ontario, yet we service all throughout Ontario. We have an expanding network of commissioners and signing officers, and our goal is to make real estate law convenience for our clients and really bring legal services to your door and to your home, including evenings, weekends, by making the signing appointment convenient for you, our client. We've been working with the Shaw Group and Justin and a few others for quite a bit of time now, and we've really enjoyed working with them as we expand our practices. So, thank you.
Yeah, great. Okay, so the first question I have for you, Geoff, is there's a lot of properties up here that have wells on them. So buyers are kind of, they're skeptical with the wells. So is there something that they should be doing, either when we're putting the offer together or in the process afterwards that kind of addresses that for them?
Sure, good question. Most times, I would say I'm a fan of the buying agent putting a condition in that it's the buying agent or the buyer is going to get the well sample. Very often, what the standard clause is that the buyer will so very often the clause says that the seller will get a water sample and get back a water potability certificate. I'm a fan actually of putting it the other way around. I would much rather have the buying representative get the water sample, put a clause in the condition that they get access to the property, they can take a water sample from the kitchen tap, usually the best place to take it, and then they take that sample in. So the best process is take off the faucet, swipe the tap, run the water for about 2 minutes, take a sample, obviously don't touch the inside of the sample, and then you can deliver the sample back to one of the locations of the Simcoe Muskoka Health Unit. So there's several locations. There's one in each of the cities. There's one in Barrie on 15 Sperling Drive is the location there. And you can pick up your sample kit from there with the form, and that's where you would also return it. It takes about 4 to 6 days once you've provided the sample to the health unit and to get your results back. Now, the health unit is open Monday to Thursday, 8:30 to 4:30. It is also open Fridays, but they don't accept samples on Fridays because they don't testing on Fridays. So they want the testing done Monday to Thursday, and at that point, then you'll get your results back thereafter. And there's also no charge for that. But I'm big on the purchasing side, putting the condition and take control of that. The concern with that is sometimes if the seller knows that they could have a bad water sample, they could bleach their well, which means they could pour bleach down their well and then take the water sample, knowing that the bleach going in the well can kill whatever's potentially in there.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay, so at the same time, those properties that have wells, they usually have septic tanks as well. So there's some concerns there with clients as well. So how do we?
Same thing in a sense. Now it's not required. Mortgage lenders typically don't require what's called a septic use permit, a search of the septic use permits. But a good way to do it is there's 2 permits you can get. One is a building permit and one's a zoning permit. So in Barrie, the divisions are that way. So you'd apply to the Barrie zoning department and the building department, and the building department just confirms that yes, the septic was built according to permits and it's in good usage. The other one, zoning, just confirms that it's located where it's supposed to be located on the land or the lot, and also located in the lot, not on your neighbor's property. All right? Each of those is a form. Your lawyer, such as myself, would send the form off. The fee is $75 and it has a 10-day turnaround. And we fill out the form, we send it in, and at that point then they send us back a compliance letter confirming that the well is in compliance with zoning and in compliance with building. And like I said, those are 2 separate departments, each is $75 to each of those.
Okay, great. Okay, so kind of last one here is, some of these properties, they might be, across the street from the water, or, you might be looking at purchasing a property on the water. Now there's deeded access for those properties. So can we take a few minutes to explain that?
Sure, of course. So sometimes in addition to that, you might have a landlocked property. I know, especially up here in around the area, there's a lot of crown land, which is government land. So you could have land and then government land located around it, and you have no direct access. So that's landlocked property. So in instances like that, let's say, for instance, if you buy a piece of property, you're looking to buy a piece of property, you want to verify by searching a title, see if there's actually an easement, which is an ability for you to, let's say, go across your neighbor's property to access your land. If in the event there is not, and you purchase the property, or you find out after the fact, hopefully you didn't use another lawyer and then found it after the fact. But if you did, there's a way to do it. And first is you approach your neighbor, and you want to tell your neighbor, you want to ask them, see if there was ever an easement. Typically there would be an easement. And see if there's ever an easement that they knew about that allowed access to across the property. If they did, and they admit it, then at that point you say, okay, can we register an easement on title to this property, confirm we can come across the property. Very often, though, the neighbor may not want to admit that, and so you can enter negotiations with them. Typically, a negotiation would be some kind of monetary payment. So, I'll pay you X amount of dollars to allow me to register this easement on your property. If in the event they still don't want you to do that, then what you can do is you can bring a court application and have the court decide whether or not there was a previous easement or if there's a new easement to be created. And in each instance, the court can then register that easement on title or create an order to register the easement on title, and then a real estate lawyer can register that easement on title. For water-based, it gets more tricky because at that point you're looking at, you have to take either a boat or some system, like you can have a boat at a dock and then take access to the property if you have the ability that way. But that's how that then works, because you're not really looking at your neighbor's property to go across in that sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. And Geoff, is there anything else that you'd like to share with the good people of Simcoe?
Yeah. Don't close on a Friday. Don't. If anything goes wrong in your deals, you're not going to be closing. If anything goes wrong, you're not going to be closing, and therefore you might be, as Bill Cook loves to say, sleeping in your U-Haul over the weekend, right? So I'm not a fan of Friday closings. I would much rather tell you you have a much better possibility, much better closing. Everything's going to go smoother if you close Tuesday to Thursday, all right?
Okay.
So yeah, and beyond that, use the Shaw Group, right? Great group, great bunch of people, really good realtors that know their stuff.
Sound legal advice.
Thank you.
I'm Justin. This is Geoff of Rabideau Law. And thanks. Bye, everybody.
Ciao.